everyone, there's been some rather interesting weather to report in Chopwell. After a cloudy start, it's going to be raining wallabies. Now, over to the studio for more info.
Thank you, Ella. There has been reports of a wallaby on the loose in Chopwell for several weeks now. Local residents have been posting photos and videos all over social media. We have a team at the scene. Let's see what's been happening.
Hello, I'm Piper, and I'm at the scene in Choppy, and I've been talking to some people who have been involved in a very mysterious incident.
I opened the blinds one morning. It was still quite dark, and I could see a shadow on the green. And I shouted, "Hey, there's something on the green!" And when it was the wallaby, and it was just going backwards and forwards up and down the estate. It looked really, really scared. When you had to do something. So I rang the police, and what they said was, ring back if it goes on the road. Ray got his iPad out and I wrote on Facebook a little bit explaining that there was this wallaby on. It looked really distressed and frightened. And within 10 minutes, people were going on, and Emma had put on, she'd rang a vet. People were just texting people, messaging people, and that is how we got a rescue. People said they would come out and have a look, and come and see.
So the word was out on social media. What happened next?
So we were made aware similar time to when all the videos were around, and we started speaking to other rescues, vets, to sort of get everyone on board in case we were ever needed to attend.
Now, let's see how the story unravels.
When did you first hear about the wallaby?
I looked out the window and a neighbour was taking photographs of next door in the garden, and I wondered what she was doing. So I came out and she told us there was a wallaby in the garden, which I kind of thought she was joking. But when I looked over the fence, he was sat there in the garden. I was quite surprised to see it. It's not something you see every day.
My grandma told us, and then we came down, and then the wallaby was just literally about there.
Obviously, the wallaby couldn't be left roaming around the village. Something had to be done.
I originally came out and done some scouting. I went and checked where he usually hides around here. We made sure he was in the area, he was eating. Some people had spotted him. I met him a couple of times when he ran past us, and we decided that we'd put a trap out here. We waited in the cars for a couple of hours waiting on him. It's like a Jurassic Park scene when he showed up next to the car watching us. I was sat watching him on the cameras, as we had Ring doorbell cameras on the trap. So we watched him come out of the building site, sat and watched us in the car for about 5 minutes, and took himself around to the trap, where Mandy clicked the button and the doors closed.
So the wallaby went from the location, he was sedated on a stretcher, and went in the back of our van and went to our vet practice in Birtley, where he was thoroughly checked. He had his head x-rayed just to check for the damage, and he had his nose stitched and cleaned, and he went from the vet's practice across to Northumberland College Zoo. We managed to get in touch with them when all of this was still going on, because obviously he needed to go somewhere after.
So thankfully, Choppy's in safe hands now. We went along to go see how he was doing.
So he wasn't in the best of states when he arrived. He had a bit of a gash on the top of his nose, and his face was a little bit swollen from the damage of the cage when he was caught. He'd bashed his head off it quite a bit. But other than that, he was in really good condition, good weight. It took him a few days to sort of get his feet back and stuff, but he's absolutely fine now, getting to know his keeper really well. And he's eating like a trooper now as well, and taking his meds really well. So hopefully within the next few weeks we're going to be putting him into the enclosure. that's when we're closed to the public, so it'll be a bit quieter. We'll see how he gets on with the girls, and then when we reopen, you'll be able to come and visit him, hopefully, in the walkthrough, all being well, and he'll just live out his days with our two females, Sydney and Adelaide.